Stan,
They're
you want me to
ridiculous.
call you Stan or Peter?
What?
Can I call you Peter or Stan?
Yeah, Peter's my name.
Yeah, but can I call you it?
You're Stan to me.
Call me whatever you want.
Damn.
Heta.
You can
Damn,
call me
homie.
daddy, homie.
Damn, homie.
Daddy, I need you to rotate.
Oh god.
Oh, you're gonna give Roka a boner.
Oh, shit. Uh-huh.
No flex. Zone.
No flex. I fucking hate these nerds who don't stop talking to us.
Who?
It is them, dude. They're playing it off a Beats pill.
Oh, sit the fuck down, noob.
I should have brought a Beats pill, dude. I'm bringing one tomorrow.
We should just steal the iHome.
The iHome, dude. I'll take it. I swear.
Dude, my USB feels so on point right now, dude.
My dick feels so on point. Right?
What the fuck?
Who's doing the coin toss?
My
Me.
dad.
I never lose them. It's like it's automatic through the client.
Paper. Choose paper.
On the real though, I had Thorin take a picture with me and then tweet to follow me. So incoming 80,000 followers. Good luck to y'all.
Nobody likes Thorin.
Doesn't matter. He has 84,000 followers.
Wait, oh, he actually put you up?
Oh yeah, he's gonna put it up in a few. And he's asking people to follow the legend. So
Damn.
incoming 80K followers, boys.
And then
I'm
you're gonna
about to
shout
pass
my name
out.
out, right, homie? Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I might retweet.
I bet you'll get 1,000 max.
I'll retweet.
I'm
for
still
10.
not even at 1,000, dude. I have like 970.
Sam, quit being negative, okay? I'm getting 80,000 today.
Everyone here will go up 1,000 followers today if we win a lap.
I'm unfollowing all of you before he does it.
Dude, we already won this map. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
No, for real, guys, just play confident, man. That's all.
So we haven't vetoed yet, right?
Nope.
Nah.
I think
got
they
it
beat
all.
up first, so it's good.
Oh!
Wow, I just want to shit on some Polish people.
I wish I had
Fucking-
in-game sound, but I don't. That's okay though.
Dude, I completely changed my setup from home. I'm feeling good.
Dan, I'm gonna have you be the computer that does the picks and bans.
Good
I
fight,
knew
Roka.
that was you too.
I'm
dude.
gonna
I
pick
knew
and
that was
ban
you.
off client. Okay, guys.
That movement on point, homie.
Rix, aren't you banned from CEVO? How are you?
Probably. Do you want me to?
What the fucking headshot, bitch.
Hey
Don't
guys,
ban
look
right
to your right. Look to your right. There's snacks, and he has no marijuana in his system right now.
And he's fat.
Very,
Whoa.
very angry. He's actually on his phone trying to get some. Like,
He's messaging Jordan right now.
he's like,
That's what
"Yo,
he does
bro,
every
where
day.
you at?
He's
homie?
waiting for it. He's waiting for
You got
it.
those addies?"
I'm calling the cops right now.
Can we join the... Oh, yeah, we can.
Yeah.
He's actually a really cool guy.
No matter what you say.
Guys, just remember, Neo's as old as me.
There's
Like, we got this.
something about you, girl.
No. The words can't bring me down. Good try.
And Smiths will chime in with one apiece, so Get Right, all that's left is in a 1-on-3. Does get the first, doesn't have that bomb down, does get the second. He looks like he might pull this off. Get Right, the master, oh, he sees him, Get Right, the most unbelievable 1v3 in the absolute pivotal time. Put him down as a result. Smith's still in the back of the site. Kiyoshima there holding B magically, but no, Peter's gonna get another one. And now it's Smith's overwhelmed in the back of sight, and Peter, magical in the magic moment, and he gets a third. Peter, are you absolutely out of your mind? Because I couldn't predict this.
Toodle at 100, Roka with 41, and Scott's got himself a 3K, so the save of that rifle is gigantic. Lex takes him down though. 1 versus 1 battle here. Lex versus Roka. Who's going to come out on top? Lex with less HP, and he gets it with only 4 HP.
And ladies and gentlemen, we are live from the MLG Arena in Columbus, Ohio for CEVO LAN. Dust, it's exciting to be here.
Oh, absolutely, man. Like, we've been waiting and prepping and doing online casting, all that leading up until this moment here and now where we finally get to show up to LAN and see what these teams are really made of.
Absolutely. It's always different when you get on LAN. These guys are under pressure. They're under the bright lights, and it's exciting. We're here on the Bravo stream covering what could potentially be a very interesting game. The question is, Dust, can Tempo weather the storm of the Virtus.Pro effect?
Yeah, it's actually really cool to see this match. You know, Tempo Storm being a new team, obviously that brand has been in CS for a bit. Obviously, some of these players were already playing on this team in the past, especially people like Stanislaw, Rix, and Shazam. But they have made some changes after a little crazy shuffle where Rush and Roka joined the team. Then Rush leaves, goes back to Elevate. So there's this kind of crazy, you know, mix-up thing going on. They finally solidified a team. They took Automatic after he was dropped from Nylum. And then they did still just secure Roka. So you can take a look there. That is the 5, and that is some of the stats they have been putting up online throughout the Season 7 against the North American teams. And so just kind of talk about that a little bit here.
Yeah, you've got the mix-up you mentioned with Roka and Rush coming in from Elevate and Automatic. I spoke with Warden a little bit earlier, and he said, you know, it was kind of a last-minute thing with Automatic picking up because Rush ended up leaving the team, but he's very, very happy with the way it's working out. Automatic's been on for just, I think, a couple of weeks, only playing a few online games.
Yeah, in fact, this particular 5 from Tempo Storm has actually only played 1 official match so far. It was an RGN event where they played a best-of-3 against CLG and lost the series 1-2, but played some pretty good games there. And
well, they should have won it.
Yeah, I mean, they had like a really close Cobble match where they lost like 13-16. I think they actually had a win on Cash against CLG. I know they had a map win against them in that series. So they're a big question mark. Let's be real here. They've only played 1 best-of-3 together online as a 5.
Right.
Not to mention that many of these players have hardly ever seen any type of LAN pay, period, in their CSGO careers. Obviously, we all know Shazam had his stint with Cloud9 before that denial. Obviously, we know that Roka traveled a little bit with Elevate. Automatic had his time playing against some international teams with Nihilum, but when it comes to Rix, I actually have never seen him play a CSGO LAN, period. I think maybe he's been to like some local stuff in the U.S., but he's never played against any type of substantial team on LAN.
He's represented pretty well online so far. I mean, if you look at his HLTV rating, it's the highest of the team. He also leads his team in KPR on HLTV career highs. So, I mean, he's certainly a force to be reckoned with, and this being his first big LAN with Tempo Storm, he could pull it out and dominate tonight.
Yeah, I mean, when you think about Rix, when you watch him play online for Tempo Storm and for some other teams he's played in the past on NA, he's known as being that really aggressive, in-your-face rifler. Sometimes that catches up with him maybe being a bit too over-aggressive, overextending a bit too much, maybe re-peaking a bit too much. But he's very decisive, very aggressive, has good aim, has some good raw fragging ability. He's a solid aggressive rifler, basically, when he's on his form. And I'm just curious to see if he can keep that same style. So many times I
Yeah.
see players when they come to like their first lands and they're used to playing this aggressive play style, they get a bit nervous or they feel the need to kind of change and adapt to the environment, and so they'll play much more passive or like kind of as almost like they play out of their element. And I'm curious to see what happens to him.
It's almost like a stage fright sort of effect, right? You get on there, and especially if they make it on the main stage, they're going to be up there in front of a huge crowd of people cheering them on, watching, and it's kind of hard to focus in on your specific game. So this is a real challenge for Tempo Storm, but they're definitely a question mark tonight.
Yeah, definitely. But like I said, curious to see how Rick's transitions to Lance. I've never really seen him play one. Stanislaw going to be their end-game leader.
Yep.
You know, now he had some experience doing that with mobility gaming back in the day during the ESWC era back in 2014 when he was trying to qualify that team. So I know he's done it before. He's a very smart, patient player, good player. And then obviously the two big names, I think, or the three big names we really need to talk about are the ones that do have the more experience.
Right.
And that's going to be Shazam, Roka, and of course Automatic. So I think those are the three we really need to focus on here.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Shazam, Star Opera coming from Cloud9 after they went through several massive roster changes. Of course, everybody knows Cloud9's been kind of dominating the North American scene and asserting themselves in the global scene as well. Shazam's come over here, and I got to tell you, I mean, he's kind of growing as a player. He's doing a little bit of good work now.
Yeah, I mean, the thing with Shazam when he was on Cloud9 is that he was a pretty solid aimer. He even had some pretty big games for them. I remember like a game against Hellraisers he had on Nuke, you know, where he had like just this crazy good game. I even saw him play like really well against NIP on some of those games. So, I mean, he had some moments where he actually looked quite sharp, but obviously he had his moments where he had some issues with his decision-making. It seemed as though he wasn't quite mentally up to speed with everyone else on the Cloud9 roster, but that comes with experience, of course, too.
You can't just focus on raw aim alone. You know, you have to make some of these decisions and make it happen. One thing I love about the way he plays is I've never seen anybody sit as close to the monitor as Shazam. I mean, earlier we actually had the camera set up to look at the whole team, and we had to move it because he sits so close, zeroed in, laser focus on that crosshair.
Right. I mean, I think that he can be a guy that has really good aim. His aim is definitely up there with some of the top ops in North America, and so we just have to see how he can actually come into the team strategically, some of the decision-making he makes in clutch situations. Those are some of the things that he needed to brush up on, so we'll have to look for that. Now, let's talk about Automatic a little bit.
Brand new.
He's a young guy, 18, 19 years old. I remember him. He actually first got his start in Counter-Strike playing professional Source at like 14 years old.
Yeah, which is crazy.
Yeah, crazy.
Yeah.
So really young guy. We saw him play for Nylum. He played at an ESCA LAN with them as well as a CEVO event. He looked quite good in both those events. He was like their best player on that team by far, actually. Known to be a very aggressive rifler. He was like an entry fragger for that team. But from my understanding, he's going to be in a bit more of a passive role on this team since, you know, Rix is kind of the more aggressive guy on this team.
I was talking to Warden a little bit before, asking, you know, hey, what's the deal with Automatic? How's it working out? He was, like I said, a little bit of a last-minute addition here. He's very happy with him, and he said they don't really believe in like defined roles. They're not structuring their team really tight, as is the trend these days. Instead, everybody's kind of loose, doing whatever they need to do, but Automatic's going to be focusing more on that lurk role, which does kind of take him out of his element, doesn't it?
Yeah, I'm curious. I mean, here's the thing. Like, even if you're a lurk on your one side of the map, if an opportunity strikes, that's the side of the map you're going to hit, you wind up being the guy engaging that. It's kind of the way Nothing works on Cloud9. He plays a lurker role, but if that's the side of the map that you're going to engage, and Nothing isn't going to wait for Freakazoid to swing all the way over and engage the site. So that's definitely, you can maybe see Automatic and play some sides of the map by himself, but obviously if they want to transition to that side, he's going to be first in line anyway, so he can still do some type of entering, even if like Roka and Rix are going to be more of the main, I guess, entry forces on the team, aside of, you know, Shazam's op, which is obviously going to be used to work picks. And from talking to Warden, this team's going to be very aggressive, very in your face. They're not very slow-paced or methodical or very strategic. They haven't even had time to implement that type of stuff, so it's going to be much more, you know, just running out in sights and trying to, you know, hit it and hit it decisively. And that's when people like Rix, Roka, and Automatic combine together with Shazam's op. Yeah, they just have to hit the shots. I mean, that's pretty much what it comes down to.
Well, I mean, speaking about hitting shots, you mentioned Roka. He's also one of the newest members of the team coming from Elevated, and saw that sort of chaos going on. Mostly we've seen him play kind of an entry frag sort of role, but as Warden said, they like to play loose. Do whatever it takes to get the job done based on your current position. It seems like it's a very North American kind of mindset, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, Roca, like, even with Elevate, he even kind of lurked a little bit in his own right. Like, for example, he would play all these solo positions, like Squeaky Dollar and Cash was very known for that, playing upper B on Mirage. So he would play kind of these solo areas, but he would do so aggressively. Like, some lurkers just kind of sit hold position, slowly work their way out. He would really kind of try to, pry into sites, cause rotations, cause disturbances for the rest of his team. So you could still see him doing some of that, like being annoying, like really like holding people in place, holding rotations for fakes or just what have you. So definitely a good aimer, definitely a guy that a lot of people in North America feel is one of the stronger aimers in the scene. He has that reputation for having that accuracy with the rifle. So let's see if Unamatic and Roca and Ritz can actually play how they play online and have that good form.
It could be huge.
I mean, I'm not saying that they're going to upset VP or anything, but I think they could at least put up a respectable number of rounds, maybe take a map in the best of 3. Who knows? Like, the thing is, this team is a big question mark. They haven't played a LAN. We have no idea what to expect.
It is the wild card effect right here. I mean, they could come out here and just dominate. And keep in mind, they are going against Virtus.Pro here, who on paper, Virtus.Pro should dominate. We all know this, right? But they have been in a little bit of a slump themselves. And if Tempo Storm can take advantage of that, well, then there you go. One map, possibly an upset. I don't know. I want to root for the underdogs because that's my thing, Dust.
Yeah, I mean, I think Virtus.Pro is favored no matter what the map vetoes are going to be. Maybe the vetoes make it a bit more interesting to see what maps get played. But let's actually talk about Virtus.Pro a bit now. We spent a lot of time with Tempo Storm, so let's go ahead and transition to the other team, Virtus.Pro. Obviously, as you said, this is a team that at any given point in time can be like a top 4 contender. I think Lurpus put it best in an article I read recently where they have like a really high ceiling, but they have a low basement as well. And it's just, that was like really cool rhetoric of just explaining how they can be quite great, but they can also dip very low. And obviously, they've had 2 events recently where they really did kind of not do as well as you'd hoped. So at Gfinity Summer 1, they had those 2 best of 3 losses to Mouse Sports, which came out of nowhere. That was Mouse Sports' first LAN as a 5. This includes losing some maps that you don't expect them to, like Cash, a map they're so dominant on. They lost 16-5 on that. And then they lost Train. That's actually their only Train loss on LAN this year came to Mouse Sports. So that was a tough event for them. And then finally, most recently, we had that Face It Stage 2 event at DreamHack Valencia.
Shocking.
Yeah, they lose to Kingwin, which that's like the only credible LAN win Kingwin's gotten against a top team. And not only that, it comes once again down to losing Cash, but this time 0-16. That was insane.
That is absolutely incredible. I mean, we know Kingwin is a good team. They're starting to really step it up and elevate their gameplay, but 0-16 against Virtus.Pro, which is one of their strongest maps. It's crazy. Now, Virtus.Pro, let's talk a little bit about their play style. I've seen them mostly being super aggressive, not just on T, but also on CT. A lot of pushes, unexpected. Are we going to see more of that tonight?
Yeah, of course. I mean, here's the thing. It's like, I know we've kind of talked about negatively about VP's slump, but let's be real. Like, this team has done some quite good things as well. I mean, they won the Season 18 ESC LAN. Of course, that was some time ago, but they've had some other top 4 performances.
They know how to do it.
Yeah, right. I mean, even like at Face It Stage 1 event, they had a top 4 finish, getting beat by NIP.
Right.
You see the Gfinity Spring Masters 2 event where they took second, losing to Fnatic in the best of 5 finals.
Sure.
They even had a top 4 finish at that ESL, ESCA LAN, just losing to Fnatic in the semi. So they've still had some good top 4 finishes this year. It's not all been bad. It's just, it seems like their form hasn't been as good as it used to be back in the glory days when they were winning Katowice and all this cool stuff. Especially people like Pasha and Snacks have historically been great for this team. They haven't looked quite the same lately, and that's really what we're kind of
exactly. That is kind of the wild card. I mean, Pasha's been just a little bit of a slump here recently. He's certainly capable of doing incredible things, nailing massive shots here and there, but he needs to step it up today and really represent for his team. And if he can nail those shots on those aggressive T and even CT pushes, it could make all the difference. You mentioned something, Dust, about how sort of inconsistent their LAN play has been. Oddly enough, online, they've been very consistent, finishing with a 7-1-3 record within CEVO, and pretty much the same thing in all the other leagues as well.
Yeah, like I said, I mean, this is a team that can compete with anyone in the world at any given time whenever they're on their form. They have some really great players. Like, we're talking about Pasha. I mean, he can opt quite effectively whenever he's on form. It's just, it seems like it's been a while since I've seen him really, really have a huge impact. Obviously, up very close on the camera there, you're seeing Snacks. Very, very aggressive rifler, very sick aim. And then there on, I guess, the very far right is going to be Bialy. And that guy, just such a sick player.
He's a star.
Solid side anchor and mini many situations on CT side. Really can have some of the sickest
Yeah.
aim I've seen in the
Youngest
game when
man
he's
on the
form.
team.
Yeah, he's definitely cool stuff. As we're looking over there, his stats from online at least this season, you can see putting up some nice numbers.
That's interesting. You know, AK-47 is almost always the best weapon unless you're a star opper, right? I mean, the M4, 2 taps on a headshot to get the kill, so it doesn't pop up in the stats. And yet here he is within CEVO. M4A1S, best weapon.
Well, right. I mean, it's because, like I said, he serves as the main side anchor for this team, usually on the A side of the map. So, for instance, on Cash, he's playing that forklift or that quad position.
Right.
You know, very effective there. Dust 2, he's going to be long A pit. Mirage, he's going to be usually the one kind of holding the A site while
Get
Taz
those
is more in the
sneaky,
connector.
beaky kills.
Yeah, so he's really good at just anchoring sites, and he uses the Silence Dim 4 to do it. And like I said, when he's on form, he has that really sick aim to anchor those sites, and that's probably why you're seeing him have the bigger numbers with that Silence Dim 4, including some really high ADR there.
Yeah, he's also huge on the headshot percentage, averaging a career average of 50% on HLTV. That's in all leagues online and LAN play combined. I mean, the kid is a beast. He's the youngest one on the team, though, 21 years old. This actually has one of the most senior crews around. They've been together for ages. Right?
I think it's the longest standing roster in CSGO.
I mean, they're really brothers, aren't they?
Yeah, I can't think of a team that hasn't made a change for as long as VP hasn't. Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty confident saying that they're the oldest team as far as the 5 that they have now and the lack of changes.
Yeah, precisely. And it really says a lot because you've got a guy like Taz, by the way, congratulations to Taz, who did just get married.
He did.
But yeah, he's 29 years old, one of the oldest professional CS players within the entire global scene.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think we're going to be going to Vito's. Okay, never mind. I thought we were about to go to Vito's there, but
false alarm, guys.
It was a false alarm. That's okay. We're going to do that here. But go ahead.
I think we could talk a little bit about what we might expect to happen going into the maps, because we should be doing Vito's real soon here.
Yeah, I can try to throw some predictions here.
Yeah, exactly.
I think Tempo Storm absolutely must get rid of Train.
Yes.
I mean, I would actually say the same probably about Cash or Mirage, but unfortunately there's just so many bullets to dodge. Because, listen, like even though Virtus.Pro has had some tough times recently, they have like a pretty deep map pool as far as like the maps they can be effective on. Train, probably one of their biggest win rates, 80% win rate on Train. Of course, they've only played it 5 times, but they still look quite good on it. You look at maps like Cash, they're near 70% win rate on that map, despite the fact that they've had some pretty rough losses on it lately to Mousesports and Kingwin. It's still a very powerful map for them overall.
Yeah.
And then, obviously, Mirage historically has been a pretty good map for them in the past, but
them smokes. How about them smokes?
Yeah, I mean, they have really cool grenades just throughout the entire map pool. They're not known for being, like, crazy methodical and strategic, but they have some really cool nades. They have some really cool aggressive play, and it makes them a powerful terrorist team on almost the entire map pool, despite, like I said, having some rough times recently.
Well, Dust, I mean, I was talking to Launders earlier. I think you were there, too, and we were just discussing Virtus.Pro and how it seems like every time they show up at a LAN and a tournament, they come up with these new completely crazy smoke strategies on every map, stuff that you've never seen before. And then they unload. And I was talking with them earlier. They were kind of tight-lipped, kind of guarded. And I said, are we going to see any new smoke strats going on? And they said, well, it depends. It depends on the maps. So clearly they've got some stuff in store. Probably going to save it until some of the later matches because, we got big names in the league. It's going to be, Na'Vi, Cloud9, a lot of competition ahead.
Right, and I mean, yeah, like going back to that, they have one of these really cool AWOL smokes offs on Cobblestone that I haven't seen anyone else do. They have some cool mollies, like they've kind of innovated some of the Molotovs that you see used over in mid to get sandbags on Cash, for instance. So yeah, definitely cool to see that. And just talking a little bit more about this matchup in general, though, is talking to you, talking to the team as well. They seem a bit more humbled this time around.
They do, yeah. In fact, I was talking to their coach earlier, and it seemed like they've had some disappointing showings, especially against Kingwin. And what they told me is that they weren't taking it one match at a time, right? They were thinking about the next game, thinking about the grand finals. They got a little bit overconfident. They didn't prepare as much for this moment, this next game. And they seemed generally focused and more concerned than I would have expected going up against Tempo Storm. It's, we got to win this game.
Right.
Before we can move on to the next and carry on.
I mean, it might rattle your confidence to get beat by a team you don't expect to lose to, which happened to them with Mousesports and Kingwin in the last just few weeks alone.
Yeah.
And 2 of the last 3 LANs that they've played. And then you come into this LAN, you're up against a team Tempo Storm that you have no clue about. I mean, there's
No
no way they
intel.
could have scouted this team or had any information. That's the one thing that's working in
Yeah.
Tempo Storm's favor. Like, knowing what map they're going to pick, knowing what map they're going to ban, and understanding the maps that VP is good on. They probably could have very heavily scouted Virtus.Pro if they had wanted to. Whereas,
Sure.
what could VP could have done to look at Tempo Storm?
They've got nothing except for a few online demos and VODs that they can look at. And I talked to Warden earlier for Tempo Storm. He's the coach, very hands-on kind of guy. Super guarded about what their tactics, map choices are. I mean, they have a definite strategy, definite plan, and if it plays out in their favor, hey, Tempo Storm, they could certainly take something.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's possible they could get a map here. I think it's very unlikely. I mean, I'll have to see the maps first to really be for sure.
Exactly.
But, I mean, I feel confident this could be a 2-0. I think it's just up to Tempo Storm to try to put up some respectable numbers, not to get completely blown out. Like I said, this is their first line as a 5. This is many of the players on the team's first time playing an international team, period, on LAN.
Yeah.
So I think this is more or less going to be a learning experience, especially with them going into the Cologne qualifiers next weekend for NA. You know, get some experience under your belt, make some mistakes, learn from them. Then you're going up against just North American only competition to try to qualify for that next major. And I think that this can be a big learning tool for them.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, it's intimidating also going up against these guys from Virtus.Pro, the Polish players. A lot of them are pretty built. You know, they're strong. They've been playing this game forever, dating all the way back to some of the earliest days of Counter-Strike 1.5 and even before then. They just bring such a tremendous amount of experience into the game. Well, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back with Tempo Storm versus Virtus.Pro, the first match on the B stream. Stay tuned, guys. Welcome back, guys. Virtus.Pro versus Tempo Storm, first match on the B stream tonight, and Dust, looks like the vetoes are underway.
Yeah, indeed. We have already actually seen our first bans take place. We're going to hop into that here in just a second, but I'll just go ahead and, break the ice here, kind of spoil it for you. We did have Virtus.Pro actually ban Dust 2.
No surprise.
None. I mean, this is their most banned map. They've only played it 5 times this year on LAN. 3 losses, 2 wins. Those wins came against Mouse Sports and Cloud9. They had some close losses to Fnatic and such. So it's not a terrible map for them, but it's one of their most popular bans and one of their least played maps on the year. And you're going up against the NA team who typically favor playing that Puggy Dust 2 type of style. So it's definitely understandable. And I think we've actually completed all of it now, so we should bring it up here in just a second.
Wow.
Tempo Storm's ban was actually overpassed, which is, a pretty solid map over here for Virtus.Pro. It's a map that I've seen them do quite well on. They've played it 10 times this year. They have 5 wins, great wins very recently, in fact, against teams like TSM and NIP. However, they've had some losses, but the losses they have come from some of the best overpass teams in the world, like Na'Vi, for instance. So, understandable ban there from Tempo Storm.
Let's talk about the picks real fast. Virtus.Pro going ahead and picking Train. You talked about this a little bit in the pregame show, how it could prove some serious trouble for Tempo Storm. What are they thinking not banning this map?
Yeah, here's the thing. Like I said, there's so many bullets to dodge from Virtus.Pro. Train obviously probably would have been my ban over a map like Overpass.
Yeah.
That's the thing, though. Like, say they ban Train, then Overpass would have gotten picked, or maybe even like Mirage or something, and it still wouldn't have been a favorite map for them. However, what we did see was a cash pick from Tempo Storm. Now, I haven't really been able to see them. Like, I think they've only played 1 official catch match, period, since they've been a 5, and that was against CLG and RGM, which they won
16-8.
True, and I have been hearing inklings from some of the other teams that Tempo Storm practices against, that Cash has been a map they've really been prepping hard and feel really comfortable with. But that's, Virtus.Pro's home map. And here's the deal. Like, yeah, they lost to King 0-16. Yeah, they got beat by Mouse Sports 16-5 at Summer, Gfinity Summer 1. But that's still their bread and butter map. And you can't really confidently bet against them in that situation.
Yeah. I'm taking a look at the stats for Cash on Tempo Storm here. Let me scroll down and find it. They've picked a total of 5 times in the online league play. It's actually their strongest map. They've won 75% of all the games they played on it. That's 6 wins and 2 losses. So clearly, if they're going to take a map, it's going to happen on Cash.
Right. This is definitely a situation where the team's just playing to their own personal strengths rather than thinking about, anti-stratting or trying to avoid, VP. They're trying to play their own game. They're trying to go what they're comfortable and confident with. But unfortunately for them, it just happens to sync up with what VP is quite
it's an uphill struggle, isn't it?
It's going to be tough here. So Train's your first map. Cash is going to be your second map. And if we need a third map, it is going to be Cobblestone. But I don't think we're going to get there.
Yeah, I don't think
we're going to
so.
get there.
Suppose we do. Let's pretend. Let's suppose that Tempo Storm takes the win on Cash, hypothetically.
Okay.
Where do we stand on this? Clearly, Virtus.Pro's done pretty good on Cobble, right? They're 50%. They've picked it 4 times within our league alone. Tempo Storm, they're not too shabby either.
I think that with Cobblestone, Virtus.Pro hasn't beat a major team, like a top team on this map, since like Copenhagen Games 2015 when they beat TSM. Their only wins, in fact, are on Cobblestone are like wins over North American teams at like some of these different Face It and Gfinity events, as well as so they beat like Elevate once, they beat Luminosity once on it, like one of Luminosity's old rosters.
Right.
So they haven't been known to be that good of a Cobblestone team. In fact, I think it's their lowest win rate map out of the pool of 7. But still, they've shown some good play on it.
It's the plow, right?
Yeah, they have some innovative stuff on the A side of the map on T side, like I've already explained.
The wall of smokes.
So they have some really cool stuff. And, here's the thing. We're taking a shot in the dark here. I don't know anything about Tempo Storm's game on
Nobody does.
Yeah, exactly. So, but I still feel confident with it being Train and Cash. Those are VP's 2 best maps, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And so I would have to take them 2-0 here.
Well, I'll tell you, looking at the numbers alone, we see the efficacy KDR, plus minus, all the numbers clearly stacking in favor of Team Virtus.Pro, which actually says quite a lot about this team because their road here has been that much more challenging playing against the top European teams.
Absolutely.
Tempo Storm, I think their biggest competition, anybody would have to agree, has been against Team Cloud9, also Liquid. Solid teams in their own right, but it's not the same intense roster of teams that VP's been going up against.
Absolutely. And like I said, I just think that Train's going to be a rough ride here for Tempo Storm. Like I said, maybe they have something crazy planned on Train, but just knowing, you know, how VP plays Train, because that's going to be the first map. Like I said, the only time they've ever lost this map was in overtime to Mouse Sports at the Gfinity Summer event, but they have wins over, you know, Envy, Navi, Cloud9, and all these other recent events they've played in. They look super sharp on it, and you have to feel really confident that VP should have that pick no problem.
Yeah.
And then whenever you go over, like I said, to Cash, that's been a map that's historically been so powerful for Virtus.Pro. Despite the recent struggles against Mouse Sports and Kingwin, it's been a big map for them.
It does cater to an aggressive team, right? It's kind of opened up. You can get out there, get those really fast picks, and that's what Virtus.Pro is just so good at. I mean, they just walk out and shoot everybody, and, you know, it could happen. Looks like the teams are starting to roll into the server right now. We're about to go live shortly. First map is Train. If you guys are just joining us, this is MLG Pro Series. We're here live at the MLG Arena, Columbus, Ohio Dust. First team, or the first matchup, is going to be Virtus.Pro versus Tempo Storm. EU talent going straight up against North America.
Yep, and like I said, we're going to get our first look at Tempo Storm as a 5. Really, period. Like I said, they've had like one best-of-3 online, but no LAN play, definitely. So this is only the 4th map they will have played together in official map settings, match settings. So that'll be really neat to kind of lift that question mark off of Tempo Storm and understand a bit about, can these guys perform?
It's a trial by fire. I mean, it really is. I mean, you place these guys up against one of the top teams. I think as far as the entire tournament, the entire series is concerned, we're looking at most likely, what, Cloud9, Virtus.Pro, and Navi bidding for the very top. So it's just very rough for Tempo Storm to go up against these players. In fact, I don't think they've ever played a European team in online play either.
Right. I mean, the only people who have really played against European teams on this Tempo Storm team would be, like, Automatic did it with Nylum. Had some impressive performances actually against teams like Virtus.Pro. You know, whenever he played that season 18 ESC LAN, I believe it was. They wound up losing the series, but he showed some good play there. Obviously, he also showed some really good play against some of the North American counterparts at that particular event where they eliminated Cloud9, and he played really well in that series, as well as our last CEVO LAN where he was playing with Nylum, and they were playing like against CLG, and while they were losing those series, he was putting up quite good numbers. So, I mean, he's, you know, shown some stuff on LAN for us. I know Rokas had some small experience playing against European teams with Elevate when he went to one of the first, like, I think it was like the Face It event in Milan. Whenever he was there. And then obviously Shazam has had his experience playing against them whenever he played with Cloud9. But it's just one of those things where for Rix especially, and then even Stanislaw, I mean, these guys don't have much LAN experience, period, much less against this level of competition.
Yeah, well, it's not so much the LAN, it's the level of competition, like you said. I mean, we are clearly stepping it up. Even if Tempo Storm, well, I mean, you know, they did very well. Let me say that throughout the whole season. They were at number 3 for a long time on CEVO until Liquid started catching up on their games and finally knocked them out of that number 3 spot within CEVO. They've done well, but to compare them to a team like Virtus.Pro is like apples and oranges, because we just haven't seen the same level of competition going on within North America. We haven't even had a real contender until the new Cloud9 stepped it up.
Right. I mean, like, obviously, Cloud9's been leading the way for NA right now in international LAN play. We're waiting to see if some of these other teams can step up. Liquid's going to be at this event. That's kind of been the second best NA team. CLG's been a team that have at least been able to score some map wins against top, you know, international teams, but they're a man short with Finesse not being here and having to use Sanksington. So, yeah, this is an opportunity for NA to try to make some more noise. Can Cloud9 win their first title? Can know CLG get us a best-of-3 win against a European team? What can Liquid do? They're going up against Mouse Sports right after this on this stream.
That's gonna be a pretty good game to watch.
That's
another question mark for us.
Absolutely. But, you know, we're going to be live here soon with this first map here between Virtus.Pro and at Tempo Storm. We're going to, like I said, train first, cash second if we need it. It's going to be cobblestone. But like I said, I'm predicting a 2-0 here.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, let's not kid ourselves. It's probably going to be a 2-0, but it's, you know, it's a wild card sort of thing. I always root for these underdogs. Right. I love to see really big plays. I think maybe if it was the previous event, Tempo Storm might have had a little bit more opportunity from an overconfident Virtus.Pro, but after being knocked down by Kingdom, especially getting 0-16 like that, they, like I said, they're humble. Yeah, they're really focusing one thing at a time. We're not we're not taking it as though we're necessarily better than anyone. Anybody could beat us. We have to stay disciplined and do our job.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about what we might see this map. I kind of want to do that here. It's going to be, you know, Virtus.Pro starting out on the T side, Tempo Storm on the CT side. Don't really know anything about Tempo Storm's train. I've never seen them play it, so we're going to all learn this together, basically. Yeah. Like, I mean, I pride myself on being pretty well researched, but there was just nothing for me to even do for this Tempo Storm team, especially on this map that they haven't played yet officially. But when you look over at Virtus.Pro starting on the T side of this map, this is a team, like I said, they're known for being really fast-paced, really aggressive. Yeah. So they're going to be doing these
Train caters to that now, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, they're going to be doing these fast outer explosions. They're going to be using snacks to lead in, try to get those picks into the outer yard. They had that little smoke wall they like to do, you know, on the bomb train, that wall of 3 smokes, and just kind of, you know, send snacks out there with the rest of the team and just try to swarm that outer bomb site. And then once they establish this outer control, then they'll start, you know, laying into the inner bomb site. They'll throw snacks outer by himself to fake like it's going to be a huge outer hit again, and they'll slip into inner. They're also one of the teams I've seen that, you know, because this is pretty rare to see, that will at times kind of go inner, sidewalk with a line of smokes all the way to Z, and then go outer that way. So they have some really cool stuff like that. But this is going to be a learning process for all of us here, especially when it comes to Tempo Storm, and we're about to get live with the pistol round.
Yeah, I see the good luck, have fun's going on, and match start. The game is afoot. Dust, let's talk about the positioning. Looks like it might just be a massive beat push.
Yeah, that's what we're seeing here so far. Inner halls, Virtus.Pro is going to be gathering up over there, including that bomb carrier. There's going to be 1 player ladder. All the other 4 players, though, are going to be getting ready to hit that inner. So let's take a look at this explosion on the lower ramp. Bialy already catching 1 flanker and automatic.
All right, well, there's a couple of shots going on right here. Snacks behind smoke takes a few shots, but Pasha is the man we're looking at, sneaking around the backside as the bomb gets planted. He's going to be playing a sort of a lurk position through Z connector. A couple of shots going down, and it's up to Snacks all alone to defend the bomb. No! It's a knife kill. Compliments of Rix.
Yeah, now this actually leaves Neo all by himself. The bomb is down. He does have a Molotov to try to put on the bomb to prevent that defuse, and so that's going to help out a little bit here. But Rix and Shazam, can they make it happen? Shazam going to try to go up the ladder and challenge, but Neo's going to get that kill, and now it's going to be all to Rix. He's stuck because of that fire off, and now he has low HP on top of things, and Neo will close it out. But that wasn't the confident pistol round win they probably wanted. They had to win a 1v2 there.
Right. Yeah, I really didn't expect that sort of thing to happen right there. I mean, Tempo Storm so close to getting the pistol round, and of course that is absolutely huge when the economics matter. You win that first pistol round, you're going to probably win the next couple. Looking at this buy Dust, tell me, what's Tempo Storm thinking?
I mean, you see a lot of teams on second round CT side when they lose first get these upgraded pistols and armor, and scouts are pretty common as well. But to see, you know, this FAMAS come out from Rix, that's definitely a bit different here. Not quite expected. And unfortunately for Shazam, he's already out with the scout. So Automatic will try to recycle it here. We are going to see Stanislav soloing into B, Automatic Z, Rix still outer yard. But I mean, you know, VP swarming out here, already have a lot of control in this yard.
Yeah, I mean, it's a 3v4 situation. The man advantage does belong to Virtus.Pro as they start working their way into the yard. This is Taz working towards Z connector. His teammate covers him, doesn't even have to take a shot, and the bomb, compliments of Neo, is going to go down here. Now, Stanislaw and Rix at the backside on the retake. Let's take a look at what Rix is doing. Walks out FAMAS, doesn't pay off for him. He's going to go down, and then straight from above, Snacks with the kill, 2-0. But again, losing more players than I might have expected on a second round there.
Yeah, I mean, at least some damage is being done to somewhat limit Virtus.Pro's economy for, you know, from spiraling out of control quickly, but it's still already some pretty high money there on Bialy, who's been pretty conservative. Snacks and Neo also starting to bank up some cash with Taz there. It's really only Pasha who's low on the cash, and Tempo Storm pretty much just take a full save here. They'll get some P250s out, but in order to make sure they can get a full buy in the next round, they're going to need to take a pretty heavy save here.
Look at the stack.
Yeah.
CT.
You got to gamble on situations like this, and so they will actually get very aggressive on Ivy. I want to see if Roka and Rix can kind of play a baiting game here to maybe get something going.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah, Rix and Shazam actually able to get a couple of kills, as you said, but it's still Virtus.Pro eventually cleaning this up here and getting that 3-0 start.
That's so fast, Dust. I mean, they stack the A site, and without guns, without really any armor to speak of, quickly goes in favor of Virtus.Pro. But this is finally going to be the first buy round. It's Tempo Storm's chance to get on the board, buying out what they can. M4s, no ops in hand on the part of the CTs, just out of money. What are we going to see?
Yeah, I'm not really sure here. I mean, this is going to be our first buy round coming out, so we're going to see kind of for the first time what Tempo Storm has to offer here on the CT side.
Well,
and,
Neo working his way forward, got the knife. Roka watching Ivy. No one's there. Bomb's moving its way towards the left. Shut down.
Yeah,
looks like we got a menu going.
Yeah, looks like we have some serious audio issues here.
Yeah,
that's rather unfortunate.
Well, I've got the mini-map pulled up on mine. We'll just go straight off of that. We're covering it like a game of chess. Looks like Pasha with the bomb. This is really bad. We're missing something incredible here. Bialy and Pasha, last two men standing for Team Virtus.Pro. We're in a 4 versus 2 situation, and Pasha looks like he just might be walking right into the trap. You see Roka here watching the corner. Not meant to be. We get Shazam doing a 2K double headshots.
And we got sound.
Sound and a point. This is so much easier now, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I was literally lost a lot of the time. Right. Granted, we did finally get it fixed. We do apologize for that, folks, but try our best to bear through it, and now we're there. And that was one of those fast outer hits from Virtus.Pro, but Snacks actually got caught pretty early, and no one else was really able to really respond either. So Tempo Storm, pretty clean win there on that their first CT buy round, as Roka going to start getting a little bit better here. Ivy, once again, you have kind of just a default spread for Virtus.Pro at this point. Taz and Neo towards the inner halls. Taz with the bomb. Snacks T-connector already taken out by Automatic.
This is big.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is big. You're going to see Taz working his way up towards Stanislav, who's blocked off by the smoke at B site. Taz changes his mind, though, and he's coming in towards A all alone. But you do see Automatic at the backside dealing with Pasha and Ivy. He's going to get smoked off and back up. The question is, what's going to happen with Rix and Shazam? Watching A site. They don't know what's happening. They're going to start backing up as Automatic pushes forward in the smoke, sprays uncontrollable. He should have died right there, but picks up that kill.
Yeah, he does, and now we have ourselves a 4 versus 3 situation here. We're seeing VP trying to recover. Bialy still trying to challenge over here at Ivy, but Shazam has taken out Neo, and so now it's just Taz and Bialy trying to bring this bomb into the outer yard still.
Taz gave his position.
He did, and it's going to be up to Rix to try to hold this off. Automatic does actually hold off Ivy. Bialy is caught. Now it's all on Taz, but he's making it happen so far.
It's a 2K. Can he pick up another? No, Shazam walks out. I mean, you're all alone. You don't have any teammates. How much can you do when you're in this wide open bomb site? You're having a hard time getting into a position to plant the bomb, and everybody knows where you are. I'll tell you what, Tempo Storm's representing.
Yeah, I mean, they're on the CT side of train here. I mean, it does have a CT side bias, though we have seen teams, especially like Virtus.Pro, be able to put up good numbers on the T side. So far, Tempo Storm putting some limits to that. And in fact, they've already forced VP to take a save here, so they have a great opportunity to tie up this game at 3-all. Virtus.Pro, like I said, on the save, P250s across the board, and it looks like they might just try to lay into the inner bomb site where Stanislav has been playing solo, but Shazam will meet up with him this time around to help out.
Yeah, that's a Pro 90 right there. And I think Neo's thinking about pushing through this smoke. Look at Stanislav. Sneaks around the corner, fires through the smoke, does some damage. Gets 1, 2, drops the bomb, gets the information, and then drops a molly over there. That is absolutely huge for Stanislav. You can see it's a 3 versus 5, and Virtus.Pro doing what they can. Hey, they don't have guns, so...
Yeah, I mean, they snuck in there. They did grab the bomb back, actually, on Snacks. But he's still trying to press through the smoke wall, and Shazam has his back turned. He'll run into somebody.
He knows
doesn't realize it. Still doesn't realize Snacks is next to him, but he's still getting a couple of kills here and there. Roka and Rix will help out. That was really awkward. I don't know. That was awkward as all get out, but it does wind up still turning into a 3-3 score here. All tied up, but Virtus.Pro can buy back up again. And let's see, what they want to look to do here.
Well, you see that 3 rounds in favor of Virtus.Pro, and then on the first gun round, Tempo Storm turns the tide and picks up 3 rounds. Now it's reset time for Virtus.Pro, buying up, rushing out. Let's talk about these positions. Looks like a standard stack, right? 3-2.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, Virtus.Pro really known for their fast outer hits this time around, though they have Taz and Neo. So this is more their default. You know, snacks towards T-Connector, other two inner halls, Pasha, Bialy playing towards Ivy, but playing really passive. And look at Unamatic and Roka getting really aggressive at Ivy on the CT side. They don't spot anything, they fall back. But in the meantime, Shazam actually has been taken out already thanks to the actions of Taz over there inside the inner halls.
Just a quick peek. Just a quick peek sort of situation right there. You see Virtus.Pro not playing super aggressive. They're hanging back. This is very Navi of them. 3 setting up probably for some smokes outside of A. And setting up for maybe an A take.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. That's that 3 wall of smokes on the A bomb side I was talking about, though. It looked like one actually did kind of miss a little bit there. It's very typical outer type of stuff. But so far, the CT side really holding this down. Yeah, Roka playing that old hell position, doing well when we have Automatic playing actually inside heaven. It does get planted in smoke, but they still have a lot of numbers up for Tempo Storm to try to retake this 3v3.
But Automatic's position, that's so powerful. And just as soon as I say that, he's taken out very, very quickly, putting us into a what in the world? 2 kills, thanks to Stanislaw and Roka. Taking them all out, plenty of time to defuse that bomb, and we have another point on the board for Tempo Storm. Dust, this is not supposed to happen.
Well, I mean, like I said, it is CT side train after all, and it is good that Tempo Storm has actually a lead. They're putting up rounds. This means that they're actually confident and they're playing on form. Pretty tight frag distribution as well there over on the CT side. I mean, I guess only Stanislaw is really behind, but not even really that much. You see Shazam, Rix, Roka all over there in pretty decent numbers, and they've just been able to close out some close rounds. Some of these 3v3 situations, they're actually coming out on the better end of the deal. And Virtus.Pro's economy is tied again. Snacks limited to just a MAC-10 here. Once again, VP is setting up inside of their more default positions. Just kind of waiting for the aggression. Because Tempo Storm, they've been very aggressive on the CT side, especially at Ivy.
They have. Well, I think it really suits them because they're taking Virtus.Pro by surprise. Even that last round where Shazam went down instantly, I thought it was pretty much all over for Tempo Storm. But, you know, clearly they're picking up the points.
And we have a double op setup here for Tempo Storm. Automatic taking his op in the outer yard. Shazam has his in Z, focused on inner for the time being. So they're starting to build up a strong enough economy to be able to make plays like this. And double op, very effective on a map like this with those long lanes.
Especially on B site. I mean, that op is just so hard to see. There's so many angles on this map. Here come the smokes. Make it rain. Flames and grenades. Tempo Storm getting stormed by Virtus.Pro. Stanislaw is able to take one before Snacks goes ahead and finds it, but here's Shazam with that off. The boom, scaring these guys off. No, not going to happen. Shazam rotates out, bomb walks in. Looks like Taz should be able to get the plant, and now it's a 4v3 retake.
Yeah, indeed it is, and so we are going to see 4 members of Tempo Storm try to retake into this inner bomb site. Taz on the back of the train. Pasha over here towards the Pop Dog. Pasha will deal the first blood there to make it a 3v3 on this retake, and the exchange is favoring Virtus.Pro all the way down until Unamatic left alone with this op, and this is so tough to retake with in these close quarter situations.
Yeah, it's a 1 versus 2. Automatic walks around, doesn't even see the player coming from upper, and gets knocked out very quickly. This is the turnaround for Virtus.Pro. How's the money looking, Dust?
It's still looking, I guess, okay for Tempo Storm, except for Unamatic. Like I said, he went pretty heavy getting that second op for his team, and so because of that, everyone's actually just going to take upgraded pistols. So Virtus.Pro is going to be able to have an advantage here. But honestly, both teams' economies are quite fragile. I mean, whoever loses this round probably looking, well, Tempo Storm probably could put together Sniper by, but VP,
not VP.
If they somehow get ecoed here, they could definitely run into some trouble.
Well, by the numbers, VP has the advantage with the guns. You see Neo rocking the op for VP today as they set up for just an old-fashioned B hit. The first one, Stanislaw all alone, gets shut down. Smoke's blocking it off, and the bomb is going to quickly go down. Compliments of your man, your newlywed, Taz. Retake time.
Yeah, I mean, there's only 3 players left here. There's not much to say, so they're going to try to go for some exits, try to get some guns down here. Unamatic and Shazam just kind of holding towards the back. And VP should be able to close out this round, make the score 5-4.
Yeah.
But we will, like I said, see Tempo's going to be able to put some type of vibe together next round. It's just important VP don't lose a lot of guns here, force any type of rebuys in case Tempo Storm does win the next round because you're instantly saving. And that you see they retained 4 guns, so this is quite good to help patch their economy back up.
Automatic and Shazam just trying to play for picks over there. Shazam, there's nothing he could have done. He's down to 1 health over there. A lucky shot maybe goes down, and so does the other one. So scoreline 4-5. It's still looking incredibly close. A lot closer so far than I would have ever expected.
Yeah, I mean, Tempo Storm's making some things happen. I mean, it's just Virtus.Pro lately has been able to kind of expose that inner. I mean, obviously, many teams kind of just play a solo inner. That's been Stanislaw. I mean, Shazam's been helping out with that op and Z connector, but VP's been able to take those aggressive pushes with Snacks leading and being able to get inside that inner sight lately and do some damage. But now they're going back to their outer split. Neo does, in fact, have the op. They move this op a lot on the T side. Sometimes it's Pasha, sometimes it's Snacks, sometimes it's Neo. This time it's Neo. And they're already getting some opening damage here. Stanislaw tried to get a little bit aggressive inner. He did take half damage. This means Shazam has fully dedicated himself to inner to help him out.
But it's a fake. You know, initially I saw them going towards A, worked their way up towards B, and now we've got 3 players running away, but Roka on the backside. I don't think you caught that on camera, but he ends up taking a kill, sneaky-like, all the way at spawn. Automatic exchanging a little bit of shots before he gets opt on down, and the advantage is clearly in favor of Tempo Storm. 3v2 on a clutch play for Neo. That's an off kill.
Yeah, that was nice done. He makes it back into a 2v2. Roka had a big play there on the flank. Ivy, though, as you said, catching VP falling back off their own fake at inner, which they had pulled the rotate, but then Roka sweeps in to catch the fallback. And so now he's made it a close 2v2 situation here. The bomb does go down. We have Stanislaw and Rix left. Rix and Z. Stanislaw pressing out the lane here, and let's see if Tempo Storm can tie this up.
Well, you see Stanislaw sees one player, gets the better of him. That's a shot. And on the far right, doesn't see it. That's Pasha taking the first headshot. 1v1. Clutch time for Pasha. He's got to play the timer. Rick needs to do something quickly. Walks around the corner, takes him out. It's going to be really close. No kit. 10 seconds. Sticks it.
He has it.
3.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got it. That's another point. 5-5. Tied score.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a tied score. Unfortunately, VP, though, like I said, they retained 4 guns on that last eco round, so they didn't have to do a lot of rebuying, so their economy is still going to be okay, and they still are going to be able to put up a buy here. However, another win here from Tempo Storm would actually finally force VP into saving territory, so it could be 7-5 Tempo Storm. However, Tempo Storm also has at risk their money being reset. Their money's tight. They're having to force FAMASes, so, I mean, whoever wins this round, it's worth 2, basically. It's 7-5 either way at this point, and Tempo Storm definitely wants to be, you know, on the better side of that deal, obviously.
Clearly, Warden's team has been learning from the master, taking this many rounds off the Virtus.Pro so far.
Yeah, the smoke wall, though, comes out here from VP. Here comes those fast outer hits I was talking about. Pasha already into hell, getting a pick there, but good response from Rix and Stanislaw. Yeah, they're doing great shutting this down.
Yeah, here's Snacks and Bialy all alone. They're in the A site. There's 3 people already there. Snacks working. The AK-47 finds the side angle on Shazam, takes him out. Problem is the position has been given up. Checks the connector, and they're just trying to get that bomb. Bomb carrier quickly goes down thanks to Roka finding him, and Snacks all alone, checking every single angle. It's what a terrible situation to be in, right? I mean, you're looking, I don't know where they are. Look here, make noise. Try to do something. 50 seconds, gets into a 1v1, not going to happen.
Yeah, Stanislaw was just a big playmaker there. I mean, VP did get out outer. They had those smokes down. Like I said, they snuck Pasha all the way into hell very quickly. He got the opening pick, but the response from Stanislaw for the hat trick afterwards. Like I said, you know, Stanislaw, not known to be like the heaviest of aimers, but he's a very smart, patient player. He doesn't make a lot of mistakes. He has the fundamentals down, and he's been doing so well on the outer side. Really, everyone's chiming in on Tempo Storm. As I said, their frag distribution's quite tight, really for both teams, honestly. No one's really standing out. It's both teams having all 5 of their members playing a really tight race right now at 6-5. Just slightly in favor of Tempo Storm, but a great opportunity to extend that, as I said, because of the save.
Here it is, entry, shots fired, and very aggressive play by Tempo Storm. Walks out there almost as soon as the shots are fired. It finishes finally with a 2K from Rix. Dust, what went right for Tempo Storm that round?
I mean, it's just playing an anti-eco round, but like I said, Tempo Storm has that aggressive nature on CT side. Apparently that's on their entire map pool. They're looking to be quite aggressive on the CT side from what some of the teams they've been practicing against have noticed whenever they've been scrimming, and so that's kind of what you've been seeing. Like look, Roka had that huge push Ivy a few rounds ago to get a big flank and get some kills. You know, they've been really doing that quite often. Roka going for it again right now, but he does start to back off, and VP's slowing down now. They see their fast outer hits haven't been working for them lately, so they're slowing down. They're playing default, but I mean, Automatic and Rix using this to their advantage. They're already both pressed up the T connector. They're trying to look for Snacks here.
Yeah, this is dangerous for Snacks. You can see the bomb working his way down towards the B site, still in a 5v5. Taz ended up taking quite a lot of damage. He's already down to 44, so by the numbers, Tempo Storm still slightly at an advantage with the exception of that FAMAS in Roka's hands. Still, no shots.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, VP really slowing things down, but Automatic getting aggressive. That T-connector, he does bring Snacks down. We talked about how because they played slow and back, Tempo Storm being very aggressive on the CT side, using it to their advantage. Automatic already slipping in, trying to get maybe into T-spawn. So they're really breaking VP apart, but it's going to be up to Roka now, holding off this Ivy push.
We've seen that before. Automatic sneaking all the way forward into T-spawn, getting some kills. Here's a fight at Ivy. Roka gets the quick 2K over there. I don't think we caught it on camera, but that's absolutely huge. It puts us into a 5v2 situation as the bomb. Neo and Taz work their way in. Neo taking a lot of damage through smoke from Stanislaw. Bomb goes down. Taz covering. Peeks. Misses a couple of shots. Critical shots. Stanislaw takes the kill. And now 2 health. And a dream not meant to be.
I mean, what can I say? Tempo Storm, like I said, just putting on that aggression, you know, being able to get the T-connector, take down Snacks, who's a big weapon for VP on T side. And we talked about how he's been struggling a bit lately, hasn't looked himself. And like I said, Tempo Storm, just with their aggression, has been picking him off. They actually have him, you know, negative right now at 9 and 11. And like I said, this work at Ivy, especially from Roka on flanks or even playing more passive, he's been really big on that side of the map. So I think Tempo Storm are just they're not scared. You know, they're playing their game, and they're playing a good CT side train so far.
You have to be brave. You have to be ballsy when you're going up against a team like Virtus.Pro. Make the big plays, make it happen. And as long as these guys can land their shots, which clearly they can, you're going to get some points. Looks like an old-fashioned B-rush.
It does, as we are going to see VP having some success there. 2 of their latest round wins have come from doing that in rounds 8 and 9, so they're trying to go back to something they've seen work for them. But that smoke is up for now. Stanislaw playing really aggressive on that smoke, and he has Shazam to back him up. But around the edge, he gets people with nades out. But no, he
misses
caught.
Every shot.
No, that could have been real dangerous there. But now VP will just explode off the reaction.
Yeah, exactly. CEVO plowing into the site. Flashbangs all over the place. Automatic Shazam and Roka, they're off the far back end of the site. Snaxic right here, standing blocked off by fire, blocked off from smoke. That's all right. His teammates are doing the work. Snax sprays through smoke, misses. That's all right, though. Bomb's going to get planted. 1 man left. Roka dead on the train.
Yeah, I mean, that's like the last 3 rounds that VP have won have come off with these big enter hits. And that round, you thought Stanislaw might have a crack at it. He was playing the edge of the smoke. Yeah. He caught them with their nades out looking to do their set enter hit. He had a great timing on that push, but he couldn't come up with anything. VP instantly explodes. And from that, they are able, you know, to win that round. You know, only losing 1 player in the process. And so we do have a pause going on here.
Yeah, that's Rick's.
Yeah, apparently they thought that something technically happened, like a computer had messed up, but apparently everything's okay. So they're going to quickly unpause, and we're going to get back into the last round of the half.
Very good. Yeah, scoreline 8-6 right now in favor of Tempo Storm. We talked about how Train is CT side. It used to be like obscenely CT sided.
Oh, yeah.
The update changed it quite a lot. This is still a huge half for Tempo Storm.
Yeah, I mean, if they can win out this last round, make it 9-6, it actually would still be pretty decent, especially if they can get a pistol around the second half. However, if VP closes this out, you know, 8-7, yeah, I guess 8 respectable amount of numbers on this map, especially given, like, maybe, like, the gap you would think there might be between these 2 teams, like, ranking-wise and such. But I think VP would still, you know, at least feel okay having gotten, you know, 7 rounds after a really, really tough start to close out the last few rounds.
Well, you see Roka doing that strange, like, anti-lurk situation again, pushing all the way down up Ivy, peeking around the smoke. He's got 2 players to deal with. That's going to be Pasha and Bialy. Flashes himself out, takes a couple of shots, gets the information, but the problem is his position has been given up. Grenade can't quite finish the job, but almost. Roka stuck.
Yeah,
and
he
dead.
is stuck, and Automatic tried to bail him out, but Bialy was able to catch him, and then Roka, you know, wasn't able to get out of there. So this time the aggression at Ivy finally not paying off. Ricks, though, playing the back hall, is able to catch Bialy, so he gets it back into a 3 versus 3. The bomb's actually still down towards T-connector, so that means VP has to run back and grab this, and that slows things down a lot. There's not a lot of time left, so they have to just kind of play for frags, but obviously Tempo Storm doesn't realize this. So they're still trying to hold here. They're actually wondering, why hasn't there been a plant, probably?
Oh, Pasha runs into Stanislaw. Didn't catch that on camera, but Stanislaw feels the impact and fires away, getting the 1 kill. Unfortunately, Shazam goes down in Z Connector, giving up the site. The bomb's going to be planted, forcing Stanislaw into this mad clutch 2v1 play.
Yeah, we'll see if he can do it here, as he is going to be coming in last round. Obviously, he's going for it here. Taz focused on Ivy. Snacks is inside heaven, and he does get the kill on Taz, but God, Snacks is right above him. It seems like Stanislaw knows he's trying to go up the ladder here.
So dangerous.
Oh, man. I mean, he tried to make a play there. Just didn't quite happen. So it will be 8-7 in favor of Tempo Storm, though, however. So like I said, a decent amount, a respectable number, given what we thought we might see, kind of noticing the disparity between the 2 teams.
That's absolutely huge. I mean, if we take a look at the stats, it was Tempo, Storm losing the first 3 rounds over there, but they were able to go on a 4-round streak and then a 4-round streak all the way up to 8 and 7 against Virtus.Pro. I mean, we were talking, I mean, I was
on train.
I root for the underdogs. I'm like, yeah, Tempo, Storm, Tempo. I didn't believe they'd do anything near this good. I wouldn't have expected 8 and 16 on train against Virtus.Pro, and here we are.
Yeah, like I said, Virtus.Pro, really, really strong train team. I mean, they've only played it 5 times this year, so it's like a limited amount of data you're working with, but they've only lost it once in overtime. Wins against good teams like Envy, Navi, and such. So it's one of those things where, yeah, you definitely didn't necessarily expect Tempo Storm to be able to put those numbers, but Roka played exceptional. Really, the whole team played well on being aggressive in that outer yard, being aggressive Ivy, catching VP in these situations where they could get some decent frags. Inner was really the only spot where it seemed like Tempo Storm kind of struggled and that VP could expose. But now we have a really tight game on our hands, but pistol round underway. Let's see what Tempo Storm can do as they're looking to hit this inner bomb site.
Yeah, here they are, working their way, all 5 players strong, going towards B. It's being watched by Neo and Taz, and basically we're just waiting on the push. The flash is out. Taz, far side, working that P2000. Is able to go, well, doesn't even drop a single player. Taz down to 11 health. There we go. Shazam's down. Bomb planted by Stanislaw, but looks like it's going to be just too little too late.
Yeah, I mean, Virtus.Pro kind of just played back, realizing how dangerous the inner hit is. So they just kind of played back, played distance with those pistols, eventually went out the duels, and now they're going to get this defuse with only losing a player in the process. But at least it's a bomb plant here for Tempo Storm, so they have the option now to be able to buy up full AKs and such in round number 3. If they can get another plant, that even helps that out even more. Or, you know, like I said, I've even seen some teams actually in this situation still buy out Tech 9s and Armor, just try to go for it. But you can see Tempo Storm taking the more conservative and more common approach of just, you know, light buying here, getting ready for those AKs next round.
Well, we saw so much aggression CT side from Tempo Storm. Virtus.Pro, famous for the same type of play. The question is, what are we going to see rolling forward? Looks like playing pretty standard, pretty default as the bomb goes upper.
Yeah, I mean, we're still like 1 round away from, I guess, what could be our opening gun. And obviously, what we're seeing VP not go too well, they actually went pretty SMG heavy for a first-round bomb plant, you know, because that means they have to upgrade those to rifles next round. So that's a little tough, I guess, but they should still be all right here, as it looks like Tempo Storm once again wants to try to push themselves here into this inner bomb site for another bomb plant.
Yeah, they're Taz peeking around the corner. He gave his position away with a flashbang, peeks one more time. Looks like every shot misses him, but he's got all the information that there's a bunch of T's up top. Look at this, though. Tempo Storm, they're pretty smart. They're not just going to rush into it. They're going to hang back.
Yeah, and a smoke gets put down a lower ramp, so that's obviously going to slow things down a bit. So Tempo Storm's kind of waiting out, but Taz going to use this to actually push upper. If people aren't checking this, he could just unload here, but we do see a couple people paying mind to it, especially Rix, who is slowly edging his way towards upper. But Taz playing the angle here, sprays, gets the frag, doesn't get greedy, backs off. Really smart play here.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the discipline right there on the part of Team Virtus.Pro defense. You see Stanislaw and Rix also dead. Shazam gets caught off guard from Z. Connector, automatic rushes forward at B, and I mean, hey, it's an eco. Meant to be that way. Just a shame they couldn't take another kill off of Virtus.Pro.
Yeah, they didn't get any kills there, but like I said, the AKs come in here. You know, maybe we'll see kind of, you know, VP get into their more standard setup. Now they even have the op on Neo. So Taz typically going to be playing the inner bomb site by himself. Snack's going to be playing that Z connector position. Pasha usually playing towards Ivy, and Neo Bialy usually playing that outer yard. But I'm curious if Neo repositions since he has an op. Maybe he'll be more Z heavy, allowing Snacks to kind of play the yard with Bialy. And that seems to be the case, at least for now.
Yes, it is. Look at Stanislaw taking the bomb. He started going down towards A main and then backs all the way off. Looks like maybe there was an initial bit of miscommunication going on for Tempo Storm, or a last-minute change of tactics.
Yeah, like I said, sometimes you see Snacks kind of playing where Neo's playing right now, but because Neo's the main opper, at least for this round, he you know, the only opper for the team this round, they kind of swapped up a little bit here, so Snacks will be kind of playing that more aggressive outer yard position. But Tempo Storm, with their first buy round, look like they want to hit inner again, you know, but there are 2 dedicated inner with Taz, and Neo has brought that op over there.
Well, it's do or die time as they come walking in. Roke ends up going down very quickly, but that's all right. Teammates are there to trade with Taz. Stanislaw is going to go ahead and make the bomb plant and force a retake. It is 4v3 man advantage for Virtus.Pro as Snacks works his way very aggressively all the way up. Neo watching from above with the op, and look at this. We're down to Shazam all alone.
Yeah, there's not much he can really do here, and the Bialy will catch it before he can even swing out and try to take a kill on the snack. So good bomb plant comes in, but like a big nade and frag combination from VP to retain the man advantage there on that retake, and then they close it out. So it is 10-8 in favor of Virtus.Pro. Tempo Storm now forced to take a one-round save here, so VP should be able to extend their lead off of this. But Tempo Storm will be back to buying right after this, and we'll see what else they have cooked up for T-side.
Yeah, I mean, Tempo, they've already got so many points on CT side, just struggling as T's. 3-round loss streak, likely to be another one unless they can pull out some sort of a miracle here